Okay, so welcome back. So you must be really tired now. 3 sessions already, and this is the last session. So like I told you in my first session in the beginning, that I'm going to complete whatever was left in the first session. So we did up to the revising part for the application of writing process. Okay, so for the time being, take out essay from your mind. Okay, you have just gone through paragraph writing and essay writing. So I just want you to, in a way, go back to what you did in the morning. That is the application of writing process. Okay, so the remaining part I'm going to continue. So for the time being, forget about paragraph writing and essay writing and focus on, because while we do this, all things will come out naturally. Okay. So we did up to the, look at the slide if you just forgot. So what are the revising checklists? Look at the slide. So when we were doing the revision part, okay, revising our first draft. So these are the questions that we followed, right? Did we really tell what we wanted to? Will our audience understand? Do we need to add, cut or change something to improve our writing? Have we arranged our ideas and points in proper order? So this is the revising checklist. So I'm going to quickly brush up with that, though we have done the revising part, but in order to help you like begin from where we left. Okay, this is the draft. This was our first, okay, this was our first draft. Okay, if you remember, this was our first draft. How has the outbreak of COVID-19 affected our lifestyle? Okay, so here I want to help you with, okay. So when we revise, we read the whole thing, okay, and then we notice, okay, there are certain areas where we need to make some changes. Okay, so how are we going to do that? Okay, so here, how has the outbreak, so did we discuss about, because the topic says how has the outbreak of COVID-19 affected our lifestyle? Did we discuss anything about how our lifestyle has changed? We need to look at this. Okay, so presently I am doing this within a very short span of time. So whatever writing, whatever piece of writing that will come up won't be the best, okay, won't be a very good one, but I request you to continue with that, take time, because it's not that a piece of writing can be developed within some minutes or an hour, okay, sometimes it takes even 1-2 days, okay, you continually trying to improve it, okay, and that's very important. So whatever piece of writing that will come up, we will try to follow the writing process, but then don't expect the best piece of writing to come up, okay. So how has the outbreak of COVID-19 affected our lifestyle? You remember I put a question mark here because this becomes an interrogative sentence, but then we can change the manner in which this is written, okay. So if you don't want to write a question mark for the topic, what we can do is, if you don't want to put a question mark for the topic, what we can do is we can change, okay, we can change the position of this, okay, has how the outbreak of COVID-19 has affected our lifestyle. Then we need not put a question mark. This is one confusion I have often noticed in children, okay, whether to put a question mark when we write like how the outbreak of COVID-19 has affected our lifestyle. If we write in this way, we don't need to put a question mark, okay. If we write has here, how has the outbreak of COVID-19 affected our lifestyle, then we need to add a question mark. Is that clear? So I am going to change this, how the outbreak of COVID-19 has affected our lifestyle, and I'm going to remove the question mark here, okay. You can choose the other way as well. Ever since the outbreak of COVID-19, so many changes have occurred. So we will keep on writing while doing the changes as well. So editing, proofreading we will do. Usually what happens when you have your first draft, after you have done the revising part, okay, the process of revising, you need to do the editing and proofreading part, you have to write another one. Okay, you have to write it again. And then you have to write the final piece of writing. But here we are going to just do editing and proofreading, everything here. And then we will do the final draft. Okay, or the final written piece. Is it clear? Okay, ever since the outbreak of COVID-19, many changes have occurred. We can see people wearing masks, using hand sanitizers, which were not. First, I'm going to do the editing part, and then I might have to add some sentences to make it more appealing. That I'll do when we are going to write the final piece. We can see people wearing masks, using hand sanitizers, which this thing, okay, we can see people doing this, okay, which was not a normal thing earlier, okay, which was not a normal thing earlier. If we try to look at only this part, we can see people, okay, wearing masks, using hand sanitizers, this whole thing, okay. What do we see, okay? Or you can write, we can see people wearing masks, using hand sanitizers, and these were not a normal thing earlier, in order to change the structure of the sentence, okay, making a compound sentence, okay. And okay, these were, instead of which were, and these were, okay, then we can keep it here as these were not a normal thing earlier. Schools and colleges are closed and online teaching is going on. People are worried about getting infected. Negative impact on education, social people are worried about. So we can reframe this. People are also worried about, right? People we have already written. So instead of people, you can use the pronoun they are also worried about the negative impact, on children's education. So we can take this out. Many people develop anxiety, which can lead to, okay, we can add, which can lead to depression. Is this the case all the time? No, sometimes, right? So many people develop anxiety, which can lead to depression in some cases, okay, if it's not controlled at the right time, right? On the depression in some cases, we can add this, okay, in some cases, not all cases, okay. Like, doesn't mean that all people who develop anxiety can fall in depression, okay. All like cases of anxiety can lead to depression. That's not the case. So in some cases I'm writing. Words like quarantine, lockdown, so we need to change, okay. I'm just writing the lowercase, right? Quarantine, lockdown, and social distancing, okay, the lowercase, not the capital one. Third, often words like lockdown and social distancing is heard often. Instead of that, words like quarantine, lockdown, and social distancing is something that we hear these days, okay. It's heard often. Oh, these are some sort of words that we hear often these days, okay. Instead of, now see, words like quarantine, lockdown, and social distancing is. Again here, the problem of subject verb. Okay, during revision, I think we didn't notice this. Okay, now when I'm editing, I can see that. Words like quarantine, lockdown, and social distancing. Okay, the subject is words like. So the verb has to be plural. Do you remember I taught you in the beginning? The previous week, subject verb agreement, right? When the subject is plural, verb has to be plural. So instead of is, it should be are something that we hear often these days. Okay, to make the sentence a little longer. Business was also affected badly. Instead of was, okay, the correct use of tense here. Business is. Country's economy, nation's economy is greatly affected, isn't it? Business is also affected badly because the shops are closed, okay. So everywhere when there's during the lockdown, you can see all closed. So country's economy is greatly affected because so much has to be spent on the test, right? And then those who are infected with COVID-19, the positive cases, so for the treatment and all, so much like has to be spent, right? So the country's economy is greatly impacted in a way. So every day we hear new cases of people getting infected. So in the news we hear about positive cases rising, isn't it? Like on a regular basis. Look at the graph. Many people are seen to discuss about whether their area fall in red zone, orange zone or green zone. See, many people are seen, instead of to discuss, what should be the correct way? Seen discussing, okay, about whether their area, this is a subject, isn't it? The subject is singular, verb has to be singular. So whether their area falls in red zone, orange zone or green zone, okay. Or we can write it whether their area falls in red, orange or green zone in order to avoid repeating this word zone, okay. Everybody wants the situation to become normal soon, okay. So how are we going to conclude this piece of writing? Are we going to end up like this or are we going to write something else? Think, okay. So now that we have done the editing part, and then like, I think in order to save time, okay, proofreading was also done in a way, whether the capitalization is there, or proper use of punctuation marks, I think we did it, right? So, okay, now I'll do the final one, final piece of writing. How has that, so the title is, how has the COVID outbreak Yes, so we forgot to mention something here. Since it's a title, okay, we generally choose to capitalize the initial letter, okay. How has the, okay, outbreak of, we can write in this way, COVID-19 affected our lifestyle, okay, capitalization here. How has, I told that I am going to change this. Okay, how the outbreak of COVID-19 has affected our lifestyle. Okay. So here we haven't mentioned anything about lifestyle, how people used to live before the outbreak. Okay. And now how the situation is like, lifestyle, okay. Because when you have no shopping malls, no PVR, theater, and then all restaurants close, you rely on the food prepared at your home, and then you cut down your need, isn't it? So you go for shopping only those things which are your basic necessities, isn't it? So we can mention this because we didn't write anything about that. So we can write off about that. Okay, begin. Ever since. So I'm going to make a like sort of change the way I have actually started in my first draft. Okay, I'm just going to change so that it looks more appealing. Ever since the outbreak of COVID-19, okay, as I choose to write this way, ever since the outbreak of COVID-19, so many changes have occurred. So in this sentence, see, I have underlined this. Changes have occurred where? Okay, we haven't mentioned where you are seeing changes. So I'm just improving this. Ever since the outbreak of COVID-19, so many changes have, instead of occurred, I'm using have taken place in the lives of human beings so that I can connect with the topic. Okay, affected our lifestyle. So many changes have taken place in the lives of human beings. Mankind has witnessed one of the most, what do you think? Is this situation natural, normal? It's unnatural, right? One of the most unnatural, and it's difficult also, right? Unnatural and difficult situation in the history. Okay, in the history of human beings, in the history of mankind, we can write. Okay. Then, in order to make it more appealing, you can pose a question so that you can connect. You can get the attention of the readers while reading. When you pose question, the readers think that, oh, this is a question asked to him. Then he starts thinking. So that there's a connection formed, and that's very important. Okay. So in order to do that, because this is missing, it's all very flat. Okay. So mankind has witnessed one of the most unnatural and difficult situations ever in the history. You can write in the history. Okay, I'm going to pose a question here. Have you ever thought, or I can write, have you ever thought that such situation would occur, or such situation would come up? Okay, you can write, such situation would come up. Have you ever, okay, in your life I'm writing, have you ever thought that such situation would come up in your life? A question mark. So you are trying to get the attention of the reader. And then I'm going to express my point. Okay. Not in my wildest dreams have I thought of such situations like the global pandemic, right? We are going through this. Okay, now you can compare the first draft, the way we began, and now with more addition, okay, and then changing. Okay, so we have in a way improved a little, right? I'm not saying that this is the best, okay, but at least this one is the improved version of this, okay, building from this. So earlier it was like, ever since the outbreak of COVID-19, so many changes have occurred. We can see people wearing masks, using hand sanitizers. It's called like all flat. Now here, ever since the outbreak of COVID-19, so many changes have taken place in the lives of human beings. So we are stressing, trying to connect with the topic. Mankind has witnessed one of the most unnatural and difficult situations. Then you get the feeling, oh, right, this is how you can improve on, okay? One of the most unnatural and difficult situations, there's a S here, okay, you are not able to see that, okay, situations, because one of the most difficult situations, that doesn't mean that this is the only difficult situation, okay, this is one of the most unnatural and difficult situations in the history. Have you ever thought that such situation would come up in your life? Or you can say, have you ever thought that you would see such situation, you would face such situation in your life? Okay, and then I'm expressing my point. Not in my wildest dreams have I thought of such situations like the global, like this, okay, like this global pandemic. Okay, then you can continue. Okay, now you can highlight, you can give the details about what sort of unnatural situation, unnatural things that you are seeing these days. Then you can talk about like the schools and colleges have been closed for so many months, isn't it? Right? Schools and colleges are closed. It's not very effective, okay, because we don't know for how long. Schools and colleges are closed. It can be like closed for 1 day, 2 day, 1 week, 2 week, right? So in order to make the situation look more severe, what we can do is schools and colleges have been closed for how many months now? From March, right? It's almost the end of June. So for months, isn't it? And online teaching is going on. Everybody is facing problem, isn't it? Because this is not something that is normal. Okay? So you can add like this. I thought of, so I'm not going to write everything here in order to save time because we have recap and review of whatever we have learned earlier. But I think you will get an idea because the way I begin, and then I'm just also telling you, after that what we are going to write is schools and colleges have been closed for months now and teachers are relying on online teaching. And both students and teachers are not used to it, right? Even parents. So everybody is facing like sort of difficulty, isn't it? You have network issues, like people staying in remote areas, you don't have the access to internet, isn't it? So everybody is facing problem. So you can highlight this point because we haven't mentioned, you can elaborate this part, right? People are worried about getting infected, isn't it? That is there. No one wants to send their children to school even if the school reopens. So everybody is talking about the result of board exams, what would happen, right? When will it be declared, and then those who are still left with, now that we know CBSE has in a way cancelled the exams, the pending exams, so we know that, right? But people talk about what would happen if the schools reopen. They are worried. So everybody is worried about, and if children are not sent to school, their education, their learning will be affected. So everyone is worried, parents, teachers, everyone is worried, and so they are relying on online teaching. So you can add this, okay? And then there are people who have anxiety, fear, okay, during lockdown, and so which in a way, if not dealt properly, can lead to depression, okay? We can add that. And then we can add about, earlier we have never heard about like social distancing and quarantine, and so this now become very common. So earlier when you go into market, you can see everybody moving around in a normal way, but now everybody wearing face mask, and then you have that fear getting closer to a person because we have been like in a way asked or told to assume that all the people you meet, every individual that you meet must be infected with coronavirus, right? So that we become careful. So this is not a normal thing, right? We get very suspicious. So you can add this, okay? Then that's how the country's economy is affected, right? The shopkeepers, shops, the business, everything is affected. Like too much is spent on to deal with this COVID-19 outbreak, okay? And every day we hear the number of cases increasing. But then the good thing is that we can hear people recovering, okay? So we need not worry much about it because though there are cases of people getting infected, but then there are also cases of people recovering from the illness, right? So you can mention that. Okay, and then they are worried about, okay, whether your area is in the red zone, orange zone, or green zone. People keep discussing, okay? And then everybody prays, when will this situation become normal? Then we can, talking about the lifestyle, we can add in the, because I'm giving you a clue, and this is your assignment. You will complete this essay, okay? So You can add earlier, like there are many people who go for shopping, they spend money lavishly, okay? They are not able to identify their need and their want, right? Need and want, they are not able to identify. Ever since the lockdown was imposed, you are allowed to only go for shopping for the basic necessity things like the vegetables, fruits, okay? And all the basic like medicines. So no, you are not allowed to go and move around, hang around in a mall or in a PVR, watching movies, because these are not necessities, right? So the lifestyle has changed in a way. People are now in a way trying to identify, okay, because the more you go out in the market, there's more chances of getting infected. So you try to limit yourself, right? Try to control yourself going out frequently. You go out only when you have very like urgent work or you have the basic necessities to purchase or buy, right? So this is how the lifestyle. And then in a way, we see a lot of things like how the atmosphere is getting cleaner, because earlier when the lockdown was imposed, people can only walk, okay, no cars, okay, bikes were allowed, so cleaner atmosphere. We start valuing nature. There are a lot of things you can add, okay? So what I'm going to do now is, I have written up to here. From here, I want you to continue and complete and take this as an assignment, okay? And try to end your piece of writing, okay, in a very beautiful concluding, or very strong, you can say, concluding paragraph. So what I want you to do is, this is something I did in order to tell you the application of writing process, okay? One I have done yesterday already. So this part, now I'm going to integrate this application of writing process into application of what you learned about paragraph and essay. Younger students can complete this as a longer paragraph. The senior students, class 7, 8 or maybe 6, they can continue this, take this as an introductory paragraph. You can build body paragraph, okay? Body paragraphs and then concluding paragraph. This would be your application of what you have learned so far. Is that clear? Please do it, okay? And what I'm going to do is quickly I will recap and review what you have learned today in my session. So we, in a way, learned about how the process of writing process can be applied while writing a piece, or developing a piece of writing. Okay, so that piece of writing can be a diary entry, it can be an essay, it can be a paragraph, it can be a letter or anything. But the thing is, you are going to apply the writing process. Okay, so this is something that is, I think, fresh in your mind. We did it yesterday. The different steps: pre-writing, writing, it's the drafting, and then revising, editing and proofreading, and then finally publishing your work. Okay. Then in my session on essay writing, now if I quickly review what we learned, okay, what an essay is, how is it different from a paragraph? Is an essay same as a paragraph? We learned that number of paragraphs can make an essay, okay, they are not same, okay. You can have an essay of 3 paragraphs, 5, but 5 paragraph essay is the standard, okay. You can have even longer. I told you, you can have essays with like in maybe 3 or 4 pages, okay. You can write longer. And we learned about the parts of an essay. What are the parts of an essay? Introductory paragraph, body paragraph, and concluding paragraph, okay. So that can be parts of paragraph. These are the 3 parts, but the second part, body paragraph, can be more like in number. Body paragraph number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay. And we also learned about how to frame your introductory paragraph so that it becomes catchy, it can attract readers' attention, and how it should talk about what you are going to write in the rest of your essay. Okay, you learned about topic sentences, okay, and how in each paragraph there is the need to have one topic sentence and supporting details, and how each paragraph should be linked to the second paragraph, the next paragraph, by the use of transition words. And we also discuss about the different transition words that can be used based on the type of writing you have done or you are doing. Okay, so next I will hand over to Gedin Thaigela. He will do a quick recap and review of the things that you have learned in his session. So see you next week. And next week, I just want, in the meanwhile, you have 4 or 5 days. I want you to complete this essay, taking this as an assignment and an immediate application approach of what you have learned. Okay, take care.
Okay, test the leg. I'm not going to take much time because we are here to do the final recapitulation of what we have done in the previous session, especially my session. Okay, so you remember I've done a session on paragraph writing, and before I left, I just reminded you about this. Okay, the writing process. This will just give you a reminder, and it makes easy for you to remember all these writing process. Okay, so you can make papers like this. Okay, any kind of paper. On the first one, you write the pre-writing, and the next you write the drafting. And if revising and editing, if you want to do it simultaneously, instead of using 2 pages, you can have 1 page, and you do revising and editing both, and then finally you have the publishing stage, the final writing. Okay, so I recommend you to keep this kind of paper. Okay, yes, any kind of paper. So this will help you, one, to remember all the process, and the second one, it will just let the teacher know that you have followed all the writing processes, no matter what kind of small writing you have done. Okay, yes, so that is what I want you to keep in mind first of all. Okay, now we are going to study some of the paragraphs here. Okay, I've got a small assignment for you. So let us look at the slides. Okay, yes, the first one. Okay, you see there are 2 simple paragraphs. Okay, these paragraphs are very simple. Okay, I want you to take your time and read these 2 paragraphs and tell me which one is better. Okay, yes. You just take your time and go through these 2 paragraphs and try to decide which paragraph is better. Okay, the first one or the second one. Okay, now let us try to get the answer. Okay, yes, the first one. Okay, yes. There are many reasons which make reading enjoyable for us. First of all, we will get to visit places of our interest without having to pay any money. Secondly, we can meet various personalities of the past and have a discussion. Last but not the least, it will give us a good company whenever we need. Because of these reasons, I enjoy reading. Okay, yes, that's a very small, crispy, short paragraph. Okay, anybody can write. Okay, so on the basis of that structure, then you can make it longer. Okay, first you get all these, which is a structures well. Okay, yes. Now look at the second one. Virtual teaching is the most effective way of teaching. Okay, now you can easily identify the topic sentence. Okay, in both these paragraphs. Now let us see how the remaining sentences follow. I think virtual teaching is very effective. Many children attend this teaching because if they don't, then they will spend their time in other things. Sometimes virtual teaching is not going smoothly. When the internet is slow, the lesson breaks. Then it breaks the continuity. During this lockdown, this kind of teaching is necessary. Okay, so you see there are two paragraphs. If you look at the first paragraph, there is a topic sentence. Of course, both these paragraphs have topic sentence. But if you look at all the remaining sentences in the first paragraph, you know that all the sentences that stick to the first topic sentence. Whereas, if you look at the second paragraph, the topic sentence, as you can see, virtual teaching is the most effective way. So, as a good paragraph, the remaining sentence should all stick or it all revolve around the topic. But if you go through these sentences, you will find that there are so many topic sentences. So, it is just a jumble up. Okay, although there are so many ideas, instead of having one particular main idea which the paragraph normally tells, there are so many topic sentences in this sentence. So, we assume that the first paragraph is much better. Okay, now let us try to dissect this. Okay, let us take an example to the first paragraph, and you remember all the components of a good paragraph. Now let us try to identify all the good components. What makes this a good paragraph? Okay, whether this would a paragraph follow all the norms of a good paragraph or not. Okay, so let us continue. Yes, this is the same paragraph. Okay, yes. Now I want you to identify the topic sentence. Okay, yes. A paragraph should have a topic sentence. That is a must. Okay, yes. So I also told you it's easy for us to see where the topic sentence is because topic sentence normally comes in the beginning. Okay, yes. So I hope you have already guessed, you have already identified the topic sentence. Let us see. Okay, yes. Yes, there are many reasons which make reading enjoyable for me. For me, which reading is enjoyable. So that is the topic sentence. So all the remaining sentence should revolve around this topic. It should not divert. If all the sentences revolve around this topic sentence, then your paragraph is in unity. Unity. Everybody is talking about each and every sentence talks about that topic sentence. So we say that this paragraph is good. Why? Because it has a unity. So everything, each and every sentence talk about the topic sentence. It does not divert. Okay, you are talking about how reading makes it enjoyable, and certainly you talk about the movies, then it diverts. So this does not become a good paragraph. Okay, so that is the first the topic sentence. Now let us talk about the main points. I told you in a paragraph normally we try to write the 3 supporting details. Even in an essay we talk about 3 main paragraphs. In paragraph we talk about 3 supporting details. So I want you to identify the 3 supporting details and yes. Okay, yeah. You take your time and try to find the supporting details which shows that reading is enjoyable. Yes? Okay. Let us see. Yes. Okay, the first one. Okay, these are the supporting details. Why I say that reading is enjoyable for me. Okay, first, without paying anything, you can easily visit different places of your interest. Okay, yes, through reading, of course. And second one, there are so many great personalities we have already missed with whom we should be, learning so many things. But in the books, you will see different biographies and autobiographies. Now, through reading, we can meet the great personality, and then we can learn so many things, and we can also have a chit chat, okay, with them. Okay, that makes it enjoyable, and finally we will get a good company. If you are fond of reading, there's no way you can feel lonely or alone like this. Anytime you can with your friend. Okay, yes. Now these are the supporting details. Okay, yes, 3, not more than 3 in this paragraph. Okay, now let us talk about which we say the transition. Okay, yes, transition plays very important. So one thing I want to keep in mind is, if you are a good writer, then you are also a good reader. A good reader is sometimes a good writer, because as a writer, first you have to, what is the main purpose? You have to have your own purpose. My purpose is to which we tell. Okay, I'm going to tell this story. Okay, so you are going to try your best to make the reader understand easily without moving here and there. So that skill should be there. So how are you going to make the reader comfortable getting all the ideas? By using the transition. What is the work of the transition? Which is to go from one step to the next, like this. And Getenchula, I have also given an example. Getenchula has also given you more example. So when it comes to transition, okay, you just try to Google it, transitional word. These plays very important. And there are different types of transition, not just first, second, third. There are so many transitions that you can use. Okay, so this is your own work. Okay, you have to go through all these things. Okay, come back to the slides. Yes. Now, the transition that I have used here are the basic things. Okay, the first of all, secondly, last but not least. Okay, so it is very important for you to use this, okay, in any kind of writing, so that you don't confuse the reader. Okay, so that the reader can easily understand what the supporting details are. We know that in a paragraph there are supporting details. So if you use this transition, readers will not have difficulty in identifying all these things. Okay, yes. Now, what about the concluding sentence? Yes. Concluding sentence. Okay, yes. It's almost same. Okay, yes. I enjoy reading. Okay, yes. Which we say, it's almost the same as the introduction part, but in a slightly different way. So this is what we say a good paragraph. You know that a good paragraph should have all this topic sentence, supporting detail, and a concluding sentence. Okay, and you have to also use the transitions. Okay, transition. You have to keep in mind that a good reader is also a good writer, because if you are a good writer, you know what the reader is looking for, and if you are a good reader, you know what a good writer writes. So in a way, they both complement. Okay, yes. So that is the thing. Now the second one. Okay, yes. Yeah, okay, this is just a format. Okay, if you are not able to start a lengthy paragraph like this, I want you to follow this. This is just a structure. Okay, structure, as I have already mentioned you. Okay, we learn by using the structure. For example, when you were small, I also remember Gela teaching me this is a structure. Okay, so once you know this is a laptop, okay, then once I know the structure, then I can use this structure in 1,000 different ways. Okay, this is a mother, this is a table, this is a, so you know this. So in a simple paragraph, I told you, it can start from 8 to 9 sentences. For example, now this is the topic sentence. I have here a topic sentence. Dharamsala is an amazing place to visit. Okay, now this is a topic sentence. Okay, there are so many things we can say about this. Okay, now these are the supporting details. So first of all, what do you want to say? How can you support that Dharamsala is an amazing place? Okay, you just write 1 or 2 sentences. And also, okay, I did not write secondly and thirdly like this. Now, this is another, which we say, transition I am using. Okay, first of all, you write and then also, okay, so it becomes additional. Okay, also 1, 2 sentences. In addition, now instead of writing finally, you can also use the transition. In addition, you write 1 or 2 sentences, and you have to either rephrase the first sentence. Okay, all this make Dharamsala an amazing place to visit for everyone. That is a very short, crispy paragraph you can write easily. Okay, yes. So after that, you just think of any other topic sentence and just follow this. First of all, also, in addition, and then you conclude. Okay, so this is how a simple paragraph looks like. And once you get very familiar with the paragraph writing, and then you can jump on to the essay, because after all, essay is just a group of paragraphs. Okay, yes. So today we have completed one of the most important part of writing. So that is paragraph writing and essay writing. And I'm sure in the next couple of days, you all will just do the practice. And we have also given you some example. It doesn't mean that these are the perfect one. Okay, yes. Even as a teacher, there are so many things we are learning. In fact, we are learning, and whatever we learn, whatever we practice, we just teach you. So you can also learn much more better than us. Okay, yes. So for that, you have to do some homework of your own. Okay, so that is the thing. And now we are going to meet you in the next week. Okay, and the department may, upload our next, another topic 2-3 days ahead of the actual. Okay, so it will be about a writing, structure or a writing pattern like this. So in advance, you just go through this. What are these things, and you just do a small kind of assignment. Okay, yes. Thank you and take care.